All right, welcome back to another episode of Philadelphia Eagles Talk with Geoff and Matt. And listen, folks, apologize. We didn't do a pregame or preview of the game this past weekend versus the Rams. Logistically, just wasn't able to get it done. Plus, I didn't have enough memory space on my phone. Really, is what it came down to. So, we didn't actually get a preview podcast in against the Rams. Those of you who watched the last couple of podcasts know that Matt and I were both there to watch the just amazing game yesterday at the link and the huge comeback. So, Matt, before we get into the game, obviously we're coming still off that high. My voice is like just now actually recovering. This morning till about noontime, it was all raspy, and people were like, "What's wrong with your voice? You're not feeling well?" I'm like, "No, I was in Philly this weekend. Did you watch the game?" "No." And some of them did, and I'm like, "Well." And the ones that did knew I didn't have much of a voice. But anyway, just, opening thoughts. I mean, obviously, what an amazing game.
Well, I think every prognosticator in the world knew that this game was going to be close, right? So we were surprised going into it that the Eagles were actually favored by 4.5, right? Was the last time we checked the line, 4.5?
Yeah, it was. But you know what, Matt? You said that you thought it was 3.5. And actually, before game time, it did get down back to 3.5. So.
3.5. So even then, okay, you get the home team spot with 3, and then they gave us a half a point basically. But anybody knew that this game was going to be close. Plus the Rams, we're starting to build the rivalry with them because they can't get past us, and they're the other good team in the NFC right now. So will we see them in the playoffs? Yeah, probably. And then the rest of it, obviously, tale of two halves. And
you stole my thunder. That's exactly how I was going to almost title the show. The tale of two halves. Go ahead.
I'm sure when we break down the grades, exactly the same thing will come up, and there's a whole bunch of speculation on who was in charge, who's calling stuff in the second half. We can dive into that a little bit, but ultimately we're not going to know. I think AJ Brown had some interesting comments after the game. Hugh Douglas had some interesting comments this morning on 94.1 WIP. And of course, Nick Sirianni in his press conference had some interesting comments, all coming at you from 3 different angles. The one person I didn't hear any comments from was Kevin Patullo. So I didn't see any comments, no press.
He's usually quiet anyway, though. So I don't know.
He's a quiet guy. He's been quiet. But I was like, well, there's only 2 people that truly know. And because the head coach isn't ever going to tell you what the inner workings are. They're going to protect the team, protect everybody that's on the roster. So I don't expect Nick Sirianni to say anything. But I thought in some ways that what AJ Brown said was pretty revealing. I don't know if you caught his post-game interview where he was talking about
I'm not sure what part you're talking about.
Yeah, so even about how, we've got talented guys on this roster. We're conservative, too conservative. Let us eat. Let us free, let's go. Let's go be killers is what he was saying. And I'm like, well,
I did hear that. Yep.
If you're saying that as a wide receiver, then you are absolutely talking about the game plan and the conservative play calling, which was so conservative in the first half that we were about ready to burn shit down to the ground. And I've been protecting Kevin Patullo. It takes time, but you get to the end of that first half and we're at -1 passing yards, -1 passing yards.
1. Yeah, and 35 yards of total offense because 34 rushing yards.
35 yards of total offense, and it was like something's got to happen. Right now, everyone in Eagles Nation knew that going into halftime, and we're like, I don't know what's going to happen. The Syria when they came out and they started driving, my opinion was my first thought was maybe Sirianni took over the play calling in the second half, but something was distinctly different. Some folks on the radio were saying maybe the conservative play calling up to this point in the season was Eagles playing possum with the offense until they got into a spot where they're like, all right, well, no more playing possum. Let's hit it. And maybe that's the truth. I don't know. I don't think the truth is ever going to come out on that. Was it Patullo making those adjustments? Was it the offensive players basically rallying around Jalen Hurts, or Jalen Hurts taking leadership and saying, that game plan, we ain't doing it? So I got this. You just freaking stand there and send in my right guys when I call the plays, and that's your job. And I don't know what happened. The truth is probably between here and there, but something great happened. So let's just not mess with that. Let's just trust. The one thing that I thought we were accurate on, though, and we've been saying it in the pregame and last week, was we've proven that it's there when we need it, right? Going back to last year's Super Bowl, right? And we haven't needed it really yet this season because what I've been saying, commit to the run and play good defense. Yes, that's been the key to success in pretty much every other game but the Super Bowl and but this Rams game this past weekend. And I'm like, if there was ever a point where if that was my game call, if I were in the OC shoes, I'm going to halftime being like, okay, no more of this commit to the run. Good defense doing okay, doing what you should do against the Rams, but offense, let's just unlock a bunch of things, right? Like let's get it's like when Super Mario gets the invincible star. Like, let's go hit that and let's just freaking run to daylight here on all systems go. Yeah. So that was my overall feeling about how that game went. And, I don't know the truths of it, of what exactly caused the complete difference in the second half offensively was amazing. The defense, man, there's stellar performance really from start to finish. We wish we saw more pressure on Stafford, but they kept him out of the end zone. All game long they kept him out of the end zone until they finally got a couple plays to break their way.
Yeah. So what I want to do is reset the settings. So pregame, start of the game, like you said, tail of two halves. Pregame, Matt and I tailgated, and we definitely, I commented on it several times, is that the general mood of the crowd, of the tailgating Eagles fans, was very oddly quiet before the game. And I made mention of it a few times, and Matt, he acknowledged it too. We're like, it wasn't like the normal hype that you're used to going to at Eagle games in the tailgating portion. It definitely got hyped in the game for sure. But it just kind of was almost an ominous cloud. Like, I was thinking, I didn't want to say it out loud. I'm like, man, I don't know if this is like a sign, like the Eagles are just not going to play well or, lose. It just was weird because no matter, how many, we've been going to Eagle games since the 90s, I guess, probably. And it doesn't matter where we are. It could be in opposing team stadiums, even Eagle fans jacked up and, loud, chanting, just whatever, Eagle chants, the whole 9 yards. And this one, I couldn't even, did we hear one Eagles chant during the tailgating for 3 hours?
No, and usually it's full of whoops and hollers and high fives. Yeah, no matter who you're talking to or seeing, it's the jumpy kind of like interactive thing, and it's quiet.
So I'm like, I don't know if the fans are nervous. I don't know if they're overconfident now because we're coming off another Super Bowl. I definitely sensed that. And so that's the only reason why I made mention of it. And, so the game that's going tail two halves, that's exactly what I had written down here that I wanted to just kind of break this game down, because there couldn't have been a more perfect example of a tale of two halves. So first half, the Eagles were absolutely outside of the Baun interception, which set the Eagles up, and they did capitalize and score on it a few plays later. Outside of that, which was early in the game, from then on to about 5 minutes into the second half, into the third quarter, the Eagles were putrid. I mean, putrid. Horrible. 3 and outs. Every pass was like a 2-yard out if it was completed. Hurts just seemed like out of sorts. Barkley couldn't get anything going. They were totally keying on a run, and they just refused in the first half to lead with the pass. And then I called it. How many times, Matt, did I call it during the game? The third and long, hand off to Barkley. They did that like 3 times.
We were about ready to puke.
That's exactly what they did.
Yeah, everybody in the stadium was about ready to puke on those third and 12, third and 11, third and 12, third and 15. Like, here comes the handoff, and it's
not even going for it, not even trying to get the first down, just handing off to Barkley. Horrible. And so conservative and just so lackluster. It was like, and the Rams weren't even playing all that great. I mean, they weren't even, we know Stafford missed a few throws that he normally doesn't miss. I mean, the Eagles could have been down. They kind of got some breaks because Stafford, usually when he's on, will hit some of these wide open receivers that he missed.
Yeah.
So
he missed at least 2, right? 2 or 3.
At least two.
Yeah. Yep.
And so, I don't know what was the cause of that. I don't know if his back was hurting him or the Eagles did occasionally blitz and maybe he just kind of saw ghosts here and there. I don't know. I don't really go with that because I just think he missed the throws. I don't think that he's too much of a veteran to like sensing pressure that's not there or stuff like that. Like they were speculating on the radio this morning that the Eagles, he kind of sensed some blitzes early and maybe it was playing in his head and he felt rushed. I'm like, this is Stafford. This guy's a veteran. He's been playing forever. I think he just missed some throws. Sometimes it happens.
I agree.
Anyway, so the first half just progressively got worse. And then to kick it off, halftime, all right, hey, let's get settled down. Sirianni goes in there, rattles some cages, throws some chairs, maybe freaking wakes his team up. They lost Lane Johnson, too, early in the game. Let's not forget that either. So that was obviously a big loss. And so they come out in the second half, fumble the opening kickoff again, which they did how many times? 5, 6
5
times?
in a row. In a row.
Can't handle. The guy did a great job. And I said this to Matt during the game. I'm like, listen, yeah, they keep bobbling it, which is inexcusable. But the guy was kicking the perfect line drive knuckleballs.
Yes.
Which is going to cause issues. And the Eagles haven't practiced that or,
that ball was moving.
I can almost see it could happen once or twice, but it happened every kick. Yeah, so kudos to them. That guy does a great job of that. And so Hurts gets the ball, second play in. Who was Matt Pryor was in there for Lane Johnson. Totally gets smoked by Curse, who blindsides and kills Hurts on the sack. Hurts fumbles, and here it is, the Rams ball at the 7-yard line, and that's how the second half started. So we're like, here's what the boos are just raining down on the field. Eagle fans are, you probably heard it on, if anyone watched it on television, I'm sure we were there. So we definitely know the boos were loud. And then, of course, I think it was 1 or 2 plays later, Williams with a little flat pass, easy touchdown in the corner of the end zone. And all of a sudden, it goes from 19-7, which, by the way, the Eagles had a 7-0 lead in this game, remember?
Yeah.
To 26-7. 26-7, just got a sack fumble. and we're like, what? We're all looking at each other. Yeah. Crowd's like just getting irate and pissed and booing. And we're like, there was no sign. I guess what I'm getting at, there's like no heartbeat or sign of life that the Eagles were going to have the comeback that they had at this point. It's like
at the same time, that mild, calm, act like you've been there before fan base that we saw in the parking lot, boy, were they alive with halfway through probably the second quarter when we realized what the hell are we doing? Right. Epic. We look like a monkey effing a football out there moment. Right. And the fans were letting them have it. Well, they did not go into that halftime without knowing where the fan base was. So we were there. We were calm. We expected to take care of business, but when they weren't taking care of business, we took care of our business.
Ooh, yeah, we did. So I would say the last couple of horrible series that they had, 3 and outs at the end of the half, they got booed relentlessly at each one of those plays. And then at halftime, they got booed again off the field. And then, of course, after the second play of the second half, they got booed again after the fumble and touchdown. So it was like a good half hour of pure booing in this game. So now we get to the drive that kickstarted them and at least got us going. All right, man. And I think the key to that drive, Matt, was how fast it happened. It was like ding, 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 touchdown.
Yeah.
And
that's what happens when you throw AJ Brown the ball.
Yeah. So they throw. I was just gonna get that. So they throw to AJ Brown, and he gets his first catch of the game. The freaking crowd, in the most awesomeness of sarcasm, erupts with cheers. It was great. And I think that was like the first down in like a quarter and a half that they got. So cheering the first down, cheering AJ Brown's first catch, and it was a pretty loud cheer and totally sarcastic. And then Hurts throws their AJ again down on the sideline, and AJ makes an amazing one-handed catch just over the cornerback and gets him down to about their 40-yard line.
Yeah.
And then the next play,
Goddard,
boom, hits a wide open Goddard over the middle. 3 plays, touchdown. And we're like, wow, okay, hey, we found our offense. And So, and this actually kickstarted the game, and also just goes back to the first half, where as much as we're beating the Eagles up, their defense held the Rams to field goals versus touchdowns.
Made it manageable.
Ended up being a huge reason why the Eagles had an opportunity to even catch up. So, the Eagles go ahead.
Let me interject one thing right here before I give it right back to you, because Seth Joyner, I was watching some of the clips from his show, and he was talking about, I don't know when exactly Fred Johnson came in for Matt Pryor, but I assume it's on this drive, right? So after the sack fumble. So Pryor gets out, and Seth Joyner's like, man, he's like, why are you even messing with this guy that you cut like 20 times over the last 3 years and you invite back for the practice squad? You have a player that can play. Why are you not playing him? Like, Seth was like losing his mind over that. And I'm like,
I don't know if Matt Pryor's got some kind.
The results are obvious.
Yeah. I don't know if Matt Pryor's got some kind of ransom or some kind of knows how he's dirtiest secrets, but they seem to just bring this guy back all the time. And they started him over Johnson, like you said, and he was a disaster. I mean, he almost gave up a couple other sacks prior to the sack fumble. So they finally kicked him out and put Johnson in there. And hey,
did stellar.
Here we go. That was the start of the rally. So he was just as important, I think, as your point, Matt, than anyone else on the offense at that point.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then the Eagles defense really clamped down. I mean, they didn't give up another point the rest of the game. They blocked, as we know, 2 field goals. So they blocked the one, which gave them more momentum. They were able to go down again, a much longer drive and a much more timing drive. And then they score again. That was the A.J. Brown touchdown. So Brown gets into the end zone for the first time this year. And then the Eagles got the ball back one last time. And they, of course, again, because of the horrible kickoffs, they just had bad field position again. So it wasn't a kickoff. So they just had, again, they were pinned back. Maybe it was a punt, whatever. They were back again deep in their end zone. They marched like 90 or 80, upper 80s.
It was 94 yards or 91 yards on the last drive.
Yeah, I thought it was in the 90s. Oh, you know what? This is what it was, Matt. Because I think it was on the blocked field goal again. But remember, on the blocked field goal, the one that Jalen got, he gets the taunting penalty.
Yeah.
And they backed him up 15 yards. So that's what happened. So, yeah. So Jalen blocked it, and then he taunted. So he's the one that blocks it, and then he taunts. So Eagles get backed up inside the 10 again for like the probably 8th time in the game. But this time, and it was like with about 8 minutes left, Matt, because I remember saying, me and the guy sitting next to you were like, yeah, let's have an 8-minute drive and, win the game with like 5 seconds left or something. So they ended up going like 7-minute drive or 7-minute and change drive or whatever. It was about a minute and a half left when the Rams got the ball back. But anyway, they drove it all the way down and had a crucial 4th down and like 6, something like that, 4th and 5. 4th and goal, I should say, from the 5. And this is with about a minute and 50 seconds left or so. 4th and 5, game's over if they don't convert the touchdown. And Jalen, again, the second half, tale of 2 halves. Horrible. In the first half, couldn't pass a lick, -1 yards passing. Second half, Jalen hardly missed anything. It was dead on, made right decisions, called all the bulls on the line. You saw him changing up, the formations before he called plays in some cases. He just totally overtook the game in the second half. He absolutely just led this comeback from an offensive standpoint, and hits Smith in the corner of the end zone on that 4th and 5th critical play. They hit the extra point, and they go up 1. Now, Matt, you want to do the play-by-play since you saw the whole play? We'll get into that in a minute. I saw the first part of it. So, Matt, why don't you take us through the final coup d'etat of the game?
Well, the whole stadium, everybody in that stadium, including Rams fans that were there, knew as soon as the Rams crossed midfield that we're like, oh, man. And they had no problem moving that ball, like 3 or 4 plays, and they're like on the 35, 36 area. And we're like, oh, my God. And we're like, the clock's ticking down. We're like, we ain't going to get this ball back. They're going for that final field goal. I'm like, we already blocked the field goal, so that sure as hell ain't going to happen again. We already got our luck used up there. And so we're all just watching, waiting.
We're just hoping he misses. We're just like hoping.
Yeah, Sirianni's got 1 timeout left, so he freezes the kicker, and then we're like, well, what else can we do? What else can we do? What did you do?
Well, I'll just say this, Matt. The only thing that I was thinking of, to your point, they already blocked the kick once. At that point in the game, I almost forgot that they already blocked it once because
I was like, this ain't happening again.
I'm just thinking miss. I'm not even thinking block it again. It didn't even cross my mind. I'm just like, please miss, please miss. I did something I've never ever, I don't think I've ever done in my life. It's just, it just dawned on me. It's like my head is like, let's try the rally cap. What the hell? Why I got to lose? So while the timeout happened and Matt was talking about, I turned my cap for the first time ever. I've never done this in my life. I'm like, I turned it this way. And I forgot that I turned it that way. So after celebrating everything with everybody, it took like 5 minutes for me to remember my hat was still like this. Anyway, I'm like, I'll just do it, And I'm just thinking, miss. I'm thinking, just miss it. Miss it. He's hit every single one except for the block in this game. He's failed right down the middle, pretty much. And I'm just thinking miss. Go ahead, Matt. That's what I was thinking.
Well, so while Geoff put on rally cap, I just threw my hands up in the air with some spooky fingers, right? Like, come on, like magic. Where's the magic out there? My mother-in-law was all about magic and glitter, and she passed away in May. And I'm like, Mary, if you're up there, just give us some magic, just some merry magic. If you're watching this game, you know how much we love the Eagles, and that's all my thought. I was like, just something bad. I wasn't thinking miss. I was thinking fumbled snap. I'm like, just magic snafu, like all over you, like a hex on you right now.
Yeah.
And then the ball was snapped, well placed. Everything's normal. The kick is up. Only for about a microsecond before Geoff turns around and jumps for joy and starts like high.
I saw the ball on the ground. I saw they blocked it.
And I'm watching and I'm like, well, there's the block. But not even the big man's running. Come on. The big man's running down the field.
That's not even turning around and celebrating. I'm like pushing Matt. I'm like, come on, celebrate.
Yeah.
He's still watching.
Now that run back, what an amazing game that Jordan Davis had. And this is probably a good segue to get right into the player ratings. But Jordan Davis had the game of his life, but then the half of his life, and then the quarter and the play of his life. And I don't know if there's anybody that is more deserving of the results to come after what we said. I remember seeing a picture of him in training camp and being like, dude, watch out when you see what Jordan Davis looks like this year, because the dude is in shape, like shape. And
Root said in one of his observations, he goes, Jordan Davis might become the first player in history to be the defensive player of the week and the special teams player of the week.
Yeah, possibly. How can you not? If we're on Jordan Davis now, I mean, like the tackle on Stafford to prevent from moving the chains and killing probably 4 more minutes off of the clock when Stafford rolled out. And he was about 3 yards short because Jordan Davis tracked him down over like a 9-yard scramble. Like,
yes,
amazing.
So that's a sack. The only sack the Eagles got in the game was that play there, because that counts as a sack. He chased down Stafford, who had nobody there. It was just Davis, the only one that had a chance to get him before he got the first down. So he had that one, and then he also made that crucial when Sean McVay went for it, midfield, went for it on 4th and 1.
Yep.
Who made the stuff? Jordan Davis.
JD. Huge game.
Turnover on downs. Yeah. He was amazing.
Huge game. So, A++ for Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
I
mean, that goes without saying. Obviously, he gets an A for the game. My other A is the guy we also mentioned, so I'll throw him out there again, for coming in after the freaking experiment with
Pryor.
Face was over again because he sucks. Pryor, is Fred Johnson. So I give him an A for coming in, because he didn't even practice at right tackle the entire week. So he's been practicing left tackle, and they were like, Pryor's playing so horrible. They said they interviewed Johnson after the game. He's like, yeah, he came up and asked me if I think I could play right tackle in the game. He's like, yeah, I know enough of it to do it. So that's how he was injected in there, and he was amazing. So hats off. A goes out to Fred Johnson.
100%. Gotta go A. My other
two hats. Almost everybody gets an F in the first.
Almost, right? But AJ can't throw himself the ball, so AJ Brown gets an A++ game as well. Like that, without AJ, this offense doesn't even get kickstarted. The run that he had on, I think, the second scoring drive, and after he caught the first pass and then the second one-hander, On the next scoring drive, coming back the other way towards us, was the one where they were getting out of their own bad spot again after a kickoff. And AJ's just like, no, you ain't tackling me. I'm going to catch this and bye-bye. Stiff arms the guy into his grave, does a little spin move, kind of racks up like 6 more yards after the catch, and then he catches another one. And then all of a sudden the Eagles are past the 50 and we're driving again, you know? And if AJ Brown wasn't AJ Brown, I'm not sure we get into that 0 to 100 miles per hour like instantly, like AJ did for us. So fantastic game by AJ, and everyone knows he can do it. So just do it. Like AJ would have said, "Let your killers be killers." I'm like, I totally agree with that. I'm not sure if you froze on me. And Jeff's gone. Well, I'll keep you entertained until Geoff gets back in here. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Seems like a perfect opportunity to state that to the audience out there. Let us know some comments. Where did you think? I would love to hear what the opinion is from the fan base on who's responsible for this game getting turned around in the second half. Was it Jalen Hurts taking leadership? Was it Kevin Petullo making a change? Was it Nick Sirianni making a change? Welcome back, Geoff.
Thanks. I had to switch to my phone Wi-Fi because suddenly one of my house just decided to go kaput.
I said like and subscribe while you were gone.
All right, cool. Thank you. Yeah, because I forgot to do that. Thanks. So where'd you end up here? Where are you?
Well, so I was talking about AJ Brown.
Okay.
Just letting killers be killers, and then again, I put it out there to the audience to give us some comments. Let us know, like, what do you guys think happened in the halftime conference before we came out, and like, who was the catalyst for changing this stuff? Was it a player? Was it Jalen Hurts? Was it Sirianni? Was it the OC? All three of them are potential facts in this case, but who's gonna know the truth? I don't know. Let's see what you guys think.
And so, I know you mentioned it, and I agree. But I agree with what you're saying about Sirianni. Sirianni's not to give it away, but the press today asked him during his press conference exactly that question. Hey, did someone else other than Petullo, call the plays in the second half? Was it Jalen? Blah blah blah. And Sirianni said that he just kept it simple, which makes you sound exactly what you're saying, Matt. That he's not going to give it away, and he's not going to say whatever they decided to do, because he just simply said, "But Kevin was calling the plays." Kevin called.
Let me speculate on one thing. On that point, right? We may never know the truth, but let's just say Sirianni said, we're going hurry up, Petullo. So this is Jalen's, and let's give him the authority to go move down the field. And you can't tell me that if you played Peyton Manning and all those games that used to just run the line of scrimmage and know exactly what we're going to do and knew exactly where to throw the ball, that Jalen Hurts didn't play equal to that in that entire second half. If he had that full control, if he was empowered with that, man, is this even a different team than where we thought we were last year? Because if you have got that power to just let Jalen see what he sees, call the plays, go to the guys that he knows are hot, keep going with the hot hand, get everybody involved, man, Hurts is good. Hurts is real good.
I didn't save my initial supers either because it's got the Chiefs game up here. I did make those changes. Anyway, the final, if anybody doesn't know, was 33-26 Eagles. It's just, I think for sure. Well, what we do know is factually happened was that they definitely sped up. They went to no
huddle offense. No huddle offense, kept the pressure on the D, but it just seemed like every call they played was just perfectly executed.
Yeah, and definitely Hurts did call audibles at the line of scrimmage on certain plays. I saw him motioning to one side and doing hand signals to the other. So there's no doubt, even if Kevin was calling some plays still, I think Hurts changed some of them at the line of scrimmage. So, all right, we're actually right at the 30-minute mark. So,
anybody else you feel like giving a grade to?
I mean, I'll just throw out who else I have up here for A's. AJ Brown, you mentioned. I think I think Smitty for that clutch, and he had a lot of big catches too.
Yeah.
Remember that high one he jumped for? That was a nice catch too. It's because Hurts kind of threw it high and he went up and got it. That was on 3rd down too, I think. And obviously the clutch touchdown I said on 4th down. Mitchell, excuse me, held. This is still repercussions from yesterday. Mitchell held Devontae Adams to, when he was lined up against him, to like 17 yards. So, heck of a job by Mitchell. Because he was not on him on that one long bomb. For some reason, Blankenship was in coverage. So that didn't work out too well. Although it's not like Reed was smoked. It was just, that was just a matchup, I guess.
Yeah.
I think that's it for A's. I put Bond up there too. Other than the one missed tackle that he had, I thought he played well.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I'd throw Braden Mann in there for having another A+. I
gave him a B only because he had the one.
He had that one last punt that was kind of, I don't know what was going on, but the punts in the first half when they really needed to get some sort of field position, he at least got them past the 50 for their starting position because they were stuck. I mean, picking from his own end zone 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, I'm being too tough on him. I think he deserves an A. Now I think about it, we can give him one bad punt. I mean, he was, like you said, all those first half punts of his, they would have got the ball at the 40-yard line if it wasn't for his freaking bombs. Lane Johnson mentioned left the game with an injury. Apparently, it's a neck stinger injury. So the word is that he should be able to play this weekend, but stingers can be a tricky injury. So we'll see. We'll keep our fingers crossed with that. I had a couple B's. Jalen Carter probably would have got an A if he didn't get a stupid
cut out the
again.
Penalties, man.
So I can't give him an A for that. And I gave Hurts a B only because as great as he was in the second half, he was, I don't even know if you could really blame him, but obviously he was not playing great in the first half. Plus he had the fumble. So I give Hurts a B. Hurts was amazing, though. I think Hurts can't be underlooked or overlooked or whatever in terms of this comeback because, after that sack, he was unbelievable.
He was fired up.
Yeah. He was, you know what? I really thought that, when they went down, bing, 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 I was talking about the quick touchdown. You said it at the game, and I ended up seeing the highlights later last night when I got home. He was wicked pumped after they came back and scored that touchdown. Like, it's almost like Hurts kind of knew, all right, we got this thing going, maybe.
Right. It's amazing how he's got that ability. You shared a clip of me after the game, after the field goal was blocked, when everyone's in euphoria. And Hurts just was like, yep, I expected that. That's
you would have thought he was watching, like, I don't know.
It's so cool.
Just, his backup quarterback taking a knee to win, to end the game. I'm like, he's watching one of the most exciting freaking plays in Eagles history. And
he's like, yep, got it. That's what we came here to do. Yep. Yeah.
It's just unbelievable reaction. I mean, who reacts like that? Even the greatest quarterbacks of all time would be excited in that moment. The game's over. Like, he just came back and iced the game. Not that he wasn't happy or anything. I'm not trying to say he was. Anyone who saw the reaction knows what Matt's talking about. He's just like,
His post-game press conference, he always talks about the same things. We're learning. We're growing. These moments, we're gonna learn from them. And I'm like, he's never gonna get down somebody's throat and criticize them and embarrass them in front of other teammates and stuff. He's gonna always say, we're learning, we're growing. And I'm like, who can't play for a guy like that? Who's your leader? Yeah. You're gonna want to give everything you got every weekend. And when a game ends in that fashion, they are never going to not play another 60 minutes in the rest of this NFL season. They will be there.
Vice versa, outside of sometimes when we go sidelines. Yeah, and outside of sometimes we'll go on the sidelines and try to, encourage the team to get going, or sometimes even bark at some players, just kind of get into the game. He'll do that occasionally. Rare, but occasionally he'll do that. He'll never go and friggin' shout out some guy or single out a guy. Or get into with anybody on his team because they dropped the ball or whatever. He doesn't. He's a great leader. And that's what everybody said about him coming out of college.
Yep.
All right. So huge win, 3-0. The Packers lose to the Browns. Who would have thought that would happen? The Cowboys get thrashed by the Bears.
Oh man.
And by the way,
you know what? If we
by the way, we're at week 3. I called this, and I know, Matt, you probably agree with me. I don't know if I did it on the show or not, but I was saying that Pickens, when things go down in Dallas, Pickens is going to be the first one that's going to start losing it. And already yesterday, he's on the sidelines taking his helmet and smashing it into the ground. I don't know if you saw that footage. So Pickens is already gone off the cliff. It's
not a good time for him to go off the cliff.
He's a head case.
Not a good time for him to go off the cliff because CeeDee's out for a significant injury for a few weeks now. So, CeeDee Lamb is injured. A lot of big injuries happen this week.
Yeah.
Big time players.
The one's going to impact our game. Mike Evans got hurt, so
hamstring. Going to be out for a few weeks on that one.
Yeah. So
I don't know where Chris Godwin. We'll talk about that in the pregame, I'm sure. Yeah, but Chris Godwin's got to be close to returning, right?
He is, but I'm not sure it's this week. But yeah, he is getting closer. So we'll see. Maybe he's going to be rushed back now because they lost Evans.
It is nice to not have to worry about Evans in a matchup with the Buccaneers. Wouldn't it be great, though, if we open that game with the way we close this game out? Just let Jalen call the whole freaking first half. And if Bowles can shut that down, then fine. Go back to Barkley and go back to commit to the run, play good defense. But I would love to see that happen. If we got
we'll touch on Barkley.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good. Well, I was just going to I want to touch on Barkley because we didn't talk about him at all. Like some people are starting to I'm starting to get a little worried. Even Ray Didinger, who I have the utmost respect for, even he's like, yeah, I'm getting a little concerned about, Barkley. And I'm like, I have zero concern about Barkley.
Same here.
They're keying the hell out of him. And this is why I've been saying before this pass game, in week 2, I was saying use the pass to set up the run. And I think the Eagles need to do that because they're keying the hell out of Barkley. I don't see any lost a step or he's too slow or he's not hitting holes. I don't see any of that. I just think there's nothing there. He's just running into a wall every time.
He was that close to breaking one after we opened up the offense in that second half, late in the third quarter or early in the fourth quarter. He was that close to getting past that one last arm that was in his way, and he would have been gone. But he got tackled.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Barkley at all.
Not worried either.
But our nemesis, and we'll talk about it later this week, our nemesis is next up. And this is the second week in a row the Eagles will be playing the undefeated team. And this is the one that they have not been able to even compete with for the last 2 or 3 games. So we'll talk about that later. We'll save that for another time. Huge win. It was an amazing game to actually be at. That's the game Matt and I were at this year, and holy cow.
Take it.
Couldn't have a better game than that. So any closing thoughts, and we'll wrap it up. And we're going to do our pregame, by the way, for Tampa. Probably, Matt, Saturday morning. Sounds usually been working out. Does that work for you?
Yeah, Saturday morning should work. Yep.
All right.
My final thoughts are the championship teams are well tested, and the Eagles have answered every test so far, every weekend so far. Some way, somehow, they're tested. They find a way. I think a lot of it ties back to Jalen Hurts, but all of it does also come back to got to play good defense, right? We tied on the turnover batter. That was important to trade turnovers there. Commit to the run. That still works, even though Barkley hasn't broken one yet. He's just right there, right? But if you start with this passing game and start letting that work with the running game, Barkley's going to be there. He's going to burst a couple. So that's my overall opinion there. How much excitement, though, does this build? Because now the Bucs are 3-0, and now we're 3-0, and we beat the Rams. We handled the Chiefs. The Cowboys, get out of the way. But now we're going into Tampa.
Cowboys are just going to watch self-implode every week the rest of the year.
Implosion on its way. I can't wait. I'm so excited for this Bucs game now. Where I was probably I'm like, yeah, it's the Bucs. Ugh. Now I'm like, this is our regular season Super Bowl, so to speak. Because I'm like, we can't beat the freaking Bucs. So let's stack up another win and get 4.
Yeah. Should be obviously it's going to be a big game. Both teams playing really well. The Bucs going to come into this game with all the confidence in the world. Why wouldn't they? They have our number. They always beat the Eagles. So we'll see. We'll see if Sirianni can figure out how to beat this team. This will be Vic's second chance. Even Vic couldn't stop their offense last year. So
no.
We haven't been able to stop their offense, and we haven't been able to play defense against,
No.
We haven't been able to do anything against this team.
Not only do they beat us, they embarrass us.
Yeah,
They've embarrassed us the last 3 years.
35-14.
Oh.
I mean, it just absolutely annihilate us.
Let's take care of that problem. Let's take care of that.
Yeah. I think that's all I got. We'll wrap it up. Thanks for watching as always. Make sure you like, subscribe. Always give Corey a shout out. I'm sure he's going to be the first to give us a first. So, Corey, thank you. And until next time, we're 3-0. Dallas. I love just throwing a couple jabs at
1-2 because they beat those.
Having them lose the Bears and Caleb Williams. It's awesome. It's awesome. Commanders still there, when they're back up. So they didn't play a great team, but the Commanders, they're good. We know they are. We'll see them later in the season. And that's it for now. So we'll be back Saturday morning for the preview for the Tampa game. Until then, thank you, Matt. And as always, fly, Eagles, fly, and go Birds. We'll catch you later.
Go Birds.